Hello everyone, my name is Victoria and I'm your union president, and today I'm here with Chev, who is our disability support team manager. This year's theme for Disability History Month is access, looking at both how far we've come but also asking how far we've got to go. And also, this year marks 25 years since the Disability Discrimination Act was passed. So Chev and I are going to have a little Q&A today, all in aid of Disability History Month. So Chev, my first question to you is, when talking about access, how does your team best support our students in accessing their university experience to its full potential?
Well, hi Victoria. There's two areas really: access to the learning and access to the buildings. If we're going down the access theme and linking it in with Disability History Month, so when a student declares that they have a disability or a long-term health condition or a specific learning difficulty, we always provide the students with reasonable adjustments. And those reasonable adjustments, we feel, will put them on a level playing field with all their peers and non-disabled students. So access to the curriculum obviously is key, the learning. So in some cases, students may need, for example, interpreters. So we would ensure that you've got basic sign language interpreters ready on board to support students who are deaf. In other cases, it may be that a student needs access to the videos and recordings on Moodle. Obviously, that's been quite a big job this semester because we've moved online. So many students who are using support workers, for example, note takers or study assistants, they've had to be given access to Moodle, and that's been quite a big job in conjunction with IT to give them access to Moodle and stream videos. Access to buildings, we work quite closely with the estates team, so there are sometimes individual students who need support with accessing our buildings, and it can be simple things like accessible toilets, where are they, showing them round, making sure that that's incorporated into their support summaries so that academic colleagues know that students will need to leave the room more frequently to use accessible toilets. But it can also be quite individual things where estates have provided us with specific height adjustable desks or chairs, ergonomic chairs. So it's really on two fronts. If we're homing in on access, it's access to the learning, which is key, and access to the buildings, and then also access to information as well. So we've been working with our recruitment team as well to make sure that our website is accessible for applicants, and the accessibility of Moodle with screen reading software, for example. So if you've got a student who's blind and they're using screen readers, we need to make sure that Moodle allows that access. So a lot of work's being done on that front too.
Yeah, that's an awful lot of work. That
I mean,
screen
project at the moment with IT team and
mm,
and the team who look after Moodle, just to make sure that all historic information on their videos that didn't have captions, they're being looked at to ensure that they do have captions, because it's
yeah,
not just disabled students who would benefit from that, it's all students
yeah,
may
it's true.
want to access learning by reviewing videos that have been on Moodle for some time.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, that's some really great work that your team are doing, and really positive. In fact, in line with and all of this, at the Student Union, we are aware that the university is working towards achieving the Disability Confident Level 2. So what areas are your team involved in to support this goal that would beneficially impact on student life?
Okay, well, at the moment, BCU have got the disability committed employer status, and we're
Mm,
working towards the second part of that, which is the disability confident employer status. We're trying to drive that forward because we've created the disability steering group, and I'm the vice chair of that steering group, and my boss, Kate War, she's the chair, and that's a steering group which encompasses HR, IT, estates, faculty representation, and quite a few members of our team are on that steering group as well. So we are trying to drive forward um, the criteria and meet the criteria to get the
mm,
disability confident employer status. And I think one of the areas, because it's about us showing that we are an inclusive, our recruitment processes are inclusive and accessible. And one of the areas is that we're working alongside, hopefully, what we want to work alongside careers to offer more opportunities for disabled candidates. And this could also incorporate students as well, because
mm,
we're looking at work trials, work experience, and internships. So as well as that, we're working with the estates team who've done a physical accessibility audit of all of the buildings across the whole of the campus. Um, and there are areas that need improving. Sometimes you'll know yourself that the electronic door into Curzon doesn't open. Um, so
yeah.
yeah, there have been issues across all of the buildings, but the
Mm,
estates team have done an audit and they are trying to work towards correcting any of those issues. So we're trying to drive that area forward as well. So two areas which hopefully will benefit students.
mm. It seems like the Disability History Month theme access is very much predominant in the work that you're doing. So it's actually really great for us to be able to talk about it today. Um, so in terms of accessing the services that you offer, what services do your team offer to all of those students who are enrolled in terms of like checklist?
Okay, well, access and inclusivity, that is really at the core of what the team does. So we all want to move towards the social model of disability because we believe that students and the general population are disabled by society's attitudes towards disabled people. And that alongside that theme of inclusivity, we offer quite a few services for students who have disabilities. The main one, I suppose, we spend a lot of our time producing support summaries for students. The support summaries will outline the reasonable adjustments that we will provide for students when they're on our course. All they need to do is provide us a copy of their medical evidence that will show their diagnosis
Mm,
and what their long-term health condition may be. So the reasonable adjustments can really support students because they'll give additional time for assignments based on word count, additional time in exams, and each support summary is individual based on the student's needs. So it could be something like regular rest breaks, um, access to an ergonomic chair, for example. But it could be if they're on a practical or a design-based course, um, offering additional time with their tutor to talk through some of their their practical work. So support summaries are a big part of what we do. We also help students to apply for disabled students allowances, which again are key areas for support for students because with disabled students allowances, students can get apply for a disabled students allowance. It is a 3-month process, so we do encourage students to apply before they get to university. But if they haven't and they need help, we can help them through that process, and it will then allow them to. Usually, most students will get a laptop with assistive technology already programmed into the laptop. Assistive technology training will be provided, um, and also one-to-one support from study skills tutors and mentors. Obviously, we have our own study skills tutors for students with dyslexia, um, mentors for students that may have autism or mental ill health. We also, as a team, regularly liaise with tutors, lecturers, course leaders about students when they're having some issues. And it could be that it's because a student has a fluctuating medical condition and they've had a flare up in their condition, and they need to approach the team so that we can almost act as the middleman between them and academic colleagues to try and get a little bit more time if they're struggling. For example, I was supporting a student earlier with that very issue. Um, we also offer, on the dyslexia side of things, we offer dyslexia screenings for all students. There has been an interruption in service, obviously due to lockdown, but we still provided support during that time. The screenings resumed as this academic year, and we've been doing them every Monday afternoon in Curzon in the assessment centre.
Brilliant.
We've also we're providing diagnostic assessments for dyslexia. So if you have a dyslexia screening and it shows that there is a likelihood that you may have dyslexia, we will offer you a free full dyslexia diagnostic with. We've got our own dyslexia assessor, a member of my team, but we're also we've commissioned out support through Midlands Assessment Centre as well. So that's given us more capacity this year to offer more diagnostic assessments than we would.
Mm.
So yeah, lots of things that we do. But
Yeah, lots and lots. You've got DSS, so the Disability Support Summary, the DSA, so the Disability Support Allowance,
yeah,
and then the dyslexia screening and dyslexia support. That's really amazing, the amount that you do just there with that. I personally had a DSS when I was studying, and it was the best thing that I could have had, because I didn't have it in my first or second year. So when I joined my new course, I finally got it, because I knew that I could get it.
mhm.
So really brilliant support that I received across the year. So I'm glad that students are more aware of it now.
We've
It's
been
really,
doing lots of webinars and
yes.
applicants and current students. So hopefully, if a
Mm,
student thinks, well, I don't know whether I'll qualify for the support, they should just contact us, just email us and send us a
mm,
copy of the medical evidence that you have, and we'll look at it for you. And if we don't think it's sufficient, we'll just ask for more. And I know
yeah.
it's difficult to get in touch with GPs these days, but it may be that you have a letter from a consultant or a specialist
Mm,
from
yeah.
previous.
What we'll do is we'll link all of your contact details below the video, so that anyone who's watching this can go and check them out. And then my final question to you is, oh no, sorry, my penultimate question to you is, do you have any top tips for students with learning difficulties on how best to study for the upcoming exams and assessments?
Probably I'll be telling you obvious stuff, but I would say get a revision plan together, a timetable, because then
Mm,
you know that you're allocating the right amount of time for each area that you want to study, and be prepared, be selective, try and get a little bit of a steer from the module lead about what may be coming up so that you're not going off in all directions and revising too much. Be very selective. Um,
mm,
Use some read aloud software as well. There's lots of read aloud software available for free, and on campus, obviously, we have Claro Read, which read aloud software, if you have dyslexia, can be really useful. um, Try and chunk up the learning as well, so that you're doing your revision in small chunks, but you're getting rest breaks in between, so that you're not trying to sit there between 8 o'clock and 7 o'clock, 12-hour days.
yeah.
It's not going to work that way.
Mm,
Focus on your well-being as well, so that you do get some break up your revision so that you've got a little bit of fun in between. Um, Simple things, because obviously you can't have much fun when you're in tier three, but even
Yeah, well,
much.
there's plenty of online events at the
Yeah,
student union that they can schedule into their little revision plan anyway. So yeah, that's a really good tip actually. I hadn't thought about revision schedules. You can tell I
yeah.
wasn't a great student.
It sounds obvious, but sometimes without that solid plan, you can just be focusing too much on one area to the detriment of other areas. So you're spreading your time out evenly. And you
Yeah,
feel
no.
pressured. I think with dyslexia, sometimes there can be associated anxiety. And what we don't want is students to get
Mm,
stressed out about exams. Just plan your time.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. The exam season, it starts in January, doesn't it? Yeah, and students have the option to come onto campus, I believe. Is that the case?
I think talking to the exams team, if students don't have the correct IT at home, because a lot of exams are being done through Moodle,
Mm,
if they don't have the correct IT and facilities, they have the option to come into campus. And I believe that the exams team are contacting students, so students should get in touch with them if they feel they can't. If, if the environment's too noisy, if they haven't got the correct laptop,
mm,
they
yeah. Yeah, so just to any student who's watching this video, if you are in a position where your IT is going to be a barrier to you completing your exam, do get in touch with your module leader and they will put you into the right hands. Okay, so I do now have my final question, which is when will you be opening and closing for the holidays? Just 'cause this is going to be going on the Christmas page that we have, sorry, the festive page that we have, and it would be really great for students to be aware of when you'll be open and closing.
Well, we are open throughout. A lot of the team, because this semester's been quite tough. A lot of the team are off for a couple of weeks over Christmas, but we still have
Mm,
enough skeleton staff in right up until Christmas Eve. So we'll only be closing our doors from Christmas Day up until the 4th of January.
brilliant, brilliant.
The
That's
rest of the
really
time,
great.
yeah, the rest of the
Okay.
time that you can get in touch with us and we will always respond to your queries. Our inbox, disability at bcu.ac.uk, is very, very busy, but the disability assistants always reply to your email. And if they can't answer the question, they send it on to the correct member of the team to reply. So please do get in touch. The only time you won't get a response and you'll get an out of office is between Christmas Day and the 4th of
Um,
January.
4th of
We'll be back
January.
4th of January.
Brilliant. Yeah, 4th of January, normal opening times, will it be?
Yes,
Yeah,
there's normally somebody picking up emails from 8 o'clock in the team.
brilliant. Fab. Thank you so much, sir, for your time, and really, really pleased that we've been able to chat with you today on behalf of the students. I will I will see you shortly.
Thank you very much, and I hope everybody has a lovely break.